Griselda, 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 Griselda.
Hey, my little gremlins. Today we are going to be discussing a case that will be going to court, hopefully within the next week. I'm recording this on October 11th, and this case was supposed to have a pre-trial hearing on October 10th, but we know that there was a storm in Florida, and that kind of pushed everything back. I'm not seeing an update on the date yet, but as soon as I see an update, we will definitely get that out to you guys. So, to piggyback off of Wade Wilson, we're going to be discussing Bonnie Wiggins, known as the career trafficker, smuggler. She didn't really use her pocket, but still, she was part of Wade Wilson getting drugs into Lee County Jail. So let's go ahead and deep dive here a little bit to understand where Bonnie Wiggins comes from. We're going to go back to 2019, where on June 29th, 2019, Bonnie was arrested for drug charges. We have drug equipment, possession, and or use, which is a first-degree misdemeanor. Drug possession, a controlled substance without a prescription, third-degree felony. And marijuana possession, not more than 20 grams, which is a first-degree misdemeanor. This is June 29th, 2019. She was bonded out. And then it looks like July 25th, 2019, the case was disposed and the bond was returned to the bail bondsman. So if we go to the next case, she was then arrested on December 11th, 2019 for more drug charges. We have 4. We have possession of a controlled substance, which is a third-degree felony, possession of paraphernalia, which is a first-degree misdemeanor, drug possession of a controlled substance with no prescription, a third-degree felony, and drug equipment, possession and or use, first-degree misdemeanor. To these, she pled guilty on the possession of paraphernalia, first-degree misdemeanor, on April 8th of 2020. There's no information on the other 3 charges. So she entered a guilty plea to the following crimes. Count 2, possession of paraphernalia, misdemeanor of the first degree. And then she had a little bit of restitution fees and court costs. And she did 93 days in Lee County Jail. And that was all the time served for that charge. So then we go to a current case that you guys might not actually be aware of that is open again. It was closed, but she got a violation of probation and community control, so it is now reopened. This case is from January 29th, 2020. We have possession of controlled substance, third-degree felony, possession of paraphernalia, first-degree misdemeanor, and possession of a controlled substance, third-degree felony. So to counts 2 and 3, she pled guilty on April 8th, 2020, which coincides with the other case that we were just talking about. So she has a felony drug charge, correct? Correct. Going through her case file, nothing really sticks out until you get down to 2023, when her probation was revoked. Why was her probation revoked, you ask? Her probation was revoked because of a probation violation found in the current case that we are aware of her smuggling drugs into Lee County Jail. So Bonnie's not new to this life. This life didn't choose her. She chose this life. It's not a new thing for her. These drug charges are nothing new. The 2023 case is not the first time that she has had a run-in with the law in regards to drug charges. So her probation was revoked and she was in violation of probation. And that coincides with her current stay in Lee County. She pled not guilty to those charges. And let's see. So that would explain why it's taking so long for her case, why they're not just letting her go, why they didn't let her bail out this time. Bond was previously revoked before. She's in violation of probation on this one. But the reason why a lot of people may not be aware of this case is because Bonnie Wiggins is her married name. Rest in peace to her husband, who is my understanding. This may not be correct. I couldn't really find much information on it. Okay. He passed away in January of 2022. He was also very familiar with Lee County, and he had a wealthy little rap sheet as well that included some battery and drug charges as well, petty theft, things of that sort, things that Bonnie had on hers as well. So it's a lifestyle that she's not new to. Let's put it that way. She's not new to this by any means. It's not that now I have no proof whether Wade Wilson did purchase her number off of another inmate or not. I guess that will come out whenever the phone calls come out. But what I can go off of right now is previous records, previous arrest records, previous violation of probations. But the reason why we're probably not familiar with her other cases is because of her maiden name, Bonnie Strom. Strom. Not to be confused with Kelly Strom. I can't find any relation there. It would be interesting, though. But yes, Bonnie Strom. So that's how I was able to find those previous arrest records and her previous violation of probation. I wouldn't say previous. It's a current violation of that probation, actually. So let's go back, and now we're going to look up Bonnie Wiggins in the Lee County Clerk of Courts. And to there, we don't find much of a rap sheet. Again, this is her married name, not her maiden name, where most of her charges were under. We find some traffic infractions, nothing big there. And then we come down to the 2023 charge of attempted trafficking in amphetamine or methamphetamine, 28 grams to 200 grams. Count 2 is conspiracy to traffic in amphetamine or methamphetamine. Count 3 is opium or derivative trafficking, 4 grams to under 30 kilograms. It's a big gap there. Drug possession, controlled substance without a prescription. And count 5 is drug possession, controlled substance without a prescription. So let's go into that charge. This is a felony case as well. And she has pled not guilty. I do have her statement here. Let's pull that up. Where she, from the booking arrest. And the part that I'm going to read to you guys is paraphrased. So it's not exactly what Bonnie said, but it gives us an idea of how the arrest went. I'm going to skip through most of the details of how they figured out that Bonnie was involved, as we'll find that out whenever the case gets closer. Like I said, Bonnie should be going to trial. She did waive a speedy trial. So back in 2023, I believe she waived that speedy trial, but I'll verify that here in just a moment. Let's see. Where did it say she waived a speedy trial? Yes, July 25th, 2023, she waived a speedy trial. But she said that it's taking a long time and they're holding her here, from what I understand, And I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me because I feel like a lot of people aren't aware that she was already out on probation for similar charges. So I wanted to clear the air on that. I'm only coming at you guys with facts. Understand that some of this may be my opinion and my personal feelings towards it, but I am presenting facts. So Detective Frankie conducted an audio recorded statement with Wiggins. Wiggins was read her Miranda warnings and agreed to speak with Detective Frankie. The following is not verbatim, but has been paraphrased. Wiggins advised she was at her home and left in the blue Audi with DeWitt as the driver. Wiggins explained that DeWitt drove because she did not want to make the drop. Wiggins and DeWitt then drove to racetrack to meet Paul and Del Toro. Paul and Del Toro entered the vehicle and DeWitt drove them to 2115 MLK Boulevard, Fort Myers. Del Toro exited the vehicle to make the drop and they circled the area. Walkie-talkies were utilized during the drop. Del Toro called them on the radio when he was ready to be picked up. DeWitt then drove with the occupants and picked Del Toro up. They then drove back to the racetrack. Wiggins stated there was methamphetamine, cigarettes, and a lighter in the drop. Wiggins explained drops have occurred for over a month. Red typically brings the narcotics with him for the drops. Wiggins advised she knows Del Toro as Red. So that was Bonnie's statement given when she was arrested for the trafficking charges. The case has taken a little bit of time, but nowhere near what Wade's took. I mean, of course, these charges are different. But she was arrested in 2023, and now we're in October of 2024. As of right now, 10/10, her pretrial conference does not show that it was canceled or rescheduled. As we know, there was that hurricane that hit that area and the courts were closed. So I will definitely be keeping you guys updated on Bonnie Wiggins as her case goes to trial. But I did want you guys to be aware that she's not a spring chicken to these drug charges. This is nothing new to her. She has a history of it. I will be putting some of that in this video. There are documents that can all be referenced on Lee County Clerk of Courts. Remember, Bonnie Wiggins is her married name. That's only going to show current charges. Her previous charge that she is in violation of probation is under the name Bonnie Lee Strom. Strom. I also want to go ahead and include a charge that Bonnie caught while in custody. This is December 19th, 2023. Pulling the record on that right now. And we're going to go ahead and read that statement. On December 19th, 2023, upon arrival, Deputy Pugh made contact with Kristen Burns, who stated she was housed in Dorm 10 with other inmates. At approximately 11:20 hours, another cellmate, Bonnie Wiggins, began yelling at her to stop talking. Inmate Burns stated that Inmate Wiggins approached her, grabbed her by the neck, pulled her off the top bunk. Inmate Burns then fell and hit her head on the concrete. Inmate Burns stated that she blacked out and woke up a short time later. She then alerted deputies and was taken to Lee Memorial Hospital for further treatment. Deputy Pugh made contact with Inmate Ingram, who stated that she observed Inmate Wiggins yelling at Inmate Burns, then approached Inmate Burns and pulled her off the top bunk. Inmate Ingram continued to state that she told Inmate Burns to make LCSO deputies aware of her injuries. Deputy Pugh administered Miranda rights to Inmate Wiggins as outlined on the standard procedure card. This process was duly witnessed by Deputy Pereiro. Deputy Pugh made contact with Inmate Wiggins, who stated she was sleeping and was awoken by Inmate Burns talking loudly. After asking Inmate Burns to stop talking several times, Inmate Wiggins noted that she started yelling, to which Inmate Burns aggressively approached her. Inmate Wiggins stated that she pushed inmate Burns and saw when she fell on the ground. Deputy Pugh observed a bruised and swollen area on inmate Burns' head and elbow. Photos were taken and uploaded to RMS. Inmate Burns was placed in direct observation under suicide watch due to her mental health crisis. Inmate Burns and inmate Ingram completed a sworn statement form. Inmate Burns completed a desire to prosecute form. Due to the victim's statement, the observed injury, Deputy Pugh found probable cause to charge inmate Wiggins with violating one count of the following Florida state statutes: battery by person detained in prison or jail facility. So, this is also another charge that will be on the upcoming docket for her trial here in October. The date for that, again, was 10/10 for a pretrial conference, and nothing has gone forward on that. She did waive a speedy trial for that as well. So that we will be watching as well. I do have some other cases that we will be covering this month, the month of October, that will be going to trial. I will be recapping Sarah Boone's trial. I know a lot of people are touching on Sarah Boone, so I just plan on recapping her trial each day or as it comes. I have a video that will be coming out before her trial starts on Monday, and I have a few others down the pipeline that won't be hitting trial until December. So if you have any cases that you would like looked into between now and December, I have 3 or 4 lined up for December. But if you have any cases that might be interesting that are going to trial, whether they're big or small, Bonnie's is not a big case, but it's relevant to us as we've been covering Wade Wilson content. And we know that Wade Wilson is a participator in her smuggling these drugs in. So those tie together. Sarah Boone doesn't tie to any of this, but it is Florida. I don't know what y'all got down in the water down there in Florida, but some crazy stuff be going on down there. But yeah, if anybody has any other cases that they might want to recommend, definitely let me know in the comments or in my inbox, and I will keep you guys updated. Stay safe and stay curious.